Hello, Soul Sisters. Welcome to another episode of the Whole Self Sister channel, the place for you to be healed and whole. I'm Raheel, and I am on a journey of self-discovery. So if you are on a similar journey and you don't want to go through it alone, let's do it together. Press the subscribe button so we can be friends. So in today's episode, I'm going to continue on what I talked about in the previous episode, which is our human psyche. So basically, Freud said that the human psyche consists of three distinctive parts. The first part is the conscious part, which is your ego, and then there is the superego, which he calls the pre-conscious part or system, and then lastly you have the unconscious part, which is the ID. This is the place where all your unexpressed forms of selves reside. This is also all the parts of you that you might have rejected or unaccepted or even unaware of. And I did talk about how important it is to bring your shadows to light, because otherwise these parts of you will act out in ways that you might not like. And it is very important to understand all parts of you, because otherwise you will not be whole. You will feel that there is a very, that there is a hollow or parts of you that are incomplete. And in here, I would like to talk about these different parts, because somehow when I started my journey of self-discovery and doing the inner work and doing shadow work, what I encountered were discussions about how the ego is supposed to be transcended, and how we are not supposed to be acting from our ego, and how we as human beings are supposed to be enlightened. And somehow that made me confused, especially when you're starting on this journey. Like, how am I, a mortal human being, able to reach that level of enlightenment? And enlightenment is usually expressed as a way where you are transcending the human form and you are no longer yourself. And I'm not going to talk about enlightenment or my opinion about enlightenment in this video. However, what helped me a lot in doing my my self-discovery work and my shadow and inner work is understanding that it is wrong to have all these three parts of us. Actually, these three parts of us serve a very important role, and we do not need to fear the ego. We don't need to say that the ego is always bad, and if I'm acting out from the ego, then I am not a good person or a worthy person. But it is our understanding and our definition of the ego and the conscious and the unconscious that needs to have more nuance. And what do I mean by that is that if each part is important, and if each part needs its due development, meaning that they have certain needs in order for them to be fully developed, then if you were not able to have the right environment or the right conditions for you to develop all these parts, then you might be expressing them in a very immature ways. And this is what I believe people usually refer to when they say that you should not act from your ego, or that the ego is very bad, because what they see is the low expressions of the ego. It's not the ego being healthy, but it's actually the ego being unhealthy because it is very immature. And why is it mature? Because it did not have time to develop. It was not given time to be able to see all the self-expressions of the ego itself. And it was very limited to let's say the environment or the family and the beliefs that were in that person's life at their early childhood or as they grow up. And so I see all these parts as, or all these systems, the three parts of your psyche, as having two distinct types of expression. So you have the ego, which can be expressed in a very negative and low way, have a very, let's say, egotistical and very self-centered way of expressing itself, but it could also be expressing itself in a very positive way, or what we call a higher expression of the ego, which is you knowing yourself and knowing your innate abilities, your skills, your purpose in life, and you are acting from that place of where you are not denying your ego, you're not denying yourself, but you are actually acting from a place where you are whole, that you are you understand what is your gift to the world. So I believe that is the high expression of the ego. And for the superego, for example, I also can see that there could be a spectrum for the superego itself. So it could be very critical, especially if you had authoritative parenting growing up, or you had or you grew up in an environment where it did not encourage critical thinking. And it could also be expressed in a very mature and positive way by making you align with what you believe and what is true to you, and then going forward to make that happen. So your superego is working in ways that are very supportive to your needs and to your desires. And then we come to the third part, which is the ID. And yes, I did use like the word desire. Sometimes it's seen in a very negative light, and although your ID is the part of you where you need to make more conscious in order for you to be able to live a healthy ego, I think that there could also be a negative expression of your ID and a positive expression of your ID. And this is very much what Carl Jung might have referred to as your dark shadow and your golden shadow. So your dark shadows are the parts of you where you are afraid to express. Let's say you have feelings of anger, of resentment, of envy, of jealousy, of hatred, and because you are unaware of the motive of your of these urges, and you are unaware of the motivations behind those urges, then you cast them aside, and then you don't deal with them, and instead you might project them to other people, or they might come up in ways where you're unaware of. So these become your blind spots, and these might hurt you and hurt other people as well. However, there is also a positive expression of the shadow. These are also parts of you that you might have cast aside, but these are actually parts that can be beneficial to you. However, they are in your shadow because probably as you grow up, they did not they were not appreciated by those around you. Like, for example, let's say when you're angry, anger when expressed in a very positive way could mean that you are able to stand up for yourself, or that you know where to draw the line when any of your boundaries are being are being crossed, or let's say that you have this nurturing self, but as you grew up you are forced to be very independent and very self-reliant and not seeking help from others. But when you are able to express it in a positive way, then and in the right environment, then people will see that you have that nurturing part of you, even if you are unaware of it. So that's why I still put it in the shadow. I still consider that a shadow, because you are unaware of it. Same as people who feel that they are introvert, but somehow they could be extroverted with other people, or they have the ability to open up and to connect with others, but they're unable to do it in a conscious way. So it comes as trigger, and I see trigger as positive or negative. So triggers are basically windows to where your shadow lies. They are windows to where your wounds are. So if you are able to see every time when you are triggered as an opportunity to meet part of your shadow and meet them with curiosity and compassion, then I believe that you will be able to transform your unconscious to more conscious expressions, from the negative and lower expressions to higher and more positive expressions. So in here, my message is still to be able to see all parts of us with compassion, curiosity, and acceptance, because every part of us is actually there for a reason. It is there because it wants to ensure that we are safe. And if you are able to give them that assurance that we can give them a safe environment for them to exist and do not cause harm to us or other people, then they will be able to show up in a more positive way. Okay, so this is all I have to say in this episode. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very wholesome day.